Wonderful time again for us to bring you stories from the national dailies, the headlines, which is of more interest to you. We will keep saying it that things happen on a daily basis, every minute, as a matter of fact. And what do we have to do? Just give you a breakdown of those headlines based on the journalist perspective of it. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and today I have two gentlemen joining me on the conversation. I don't know, but then the People's Democratic Party, despite all odds, there is a level of arrival in Ibadan right now ahead of the convention, and of course, the caretaker committee. Which way for the People's Democratic Party? As at yesterday, we seen people defecting to the All Progressive Congress, but this time from NPP and ANPP. But as it is right now, let's just get into the whole story. NNPP and of course PDP, ADC, and other political parties are putting their house in order, but then, are Nigerians satisfied with the level of opposition that we have in this country? Some persons don't even believe in the People's Democratic Party anymore. But then, don't take 2027 for granted. Anything can happen. Well, this is going to be where we'll commence the conversation today. A PDP convention preparation in top gear, despite what's coming from the court. You know, the first time there was a court restriction. Second time it was overturned. Then we saw Lamido in court again. In fact, he got an injunction from the court. But right now, there is some form of arrival by delegates. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, when we return, we'll get straight into the conversation. Stay with us. Joining me on the conversation right here on the desk is Ubong Usoro. It's good to have you join us on the program this evening.
Always a pleasure to join you.
Do you know that if anything has to do with the People's Democratic Party, anytime I see you, I say, okay, details will soon be on the table. All right, very soon, Ubon is going to be unveiling some things for us as it has to do with the People's Democratic Party, PDP. And of course, we also have someone who is joining us in the studio. He's a journalist and a public affairs analyst. Usoro, as a matter of fact, is a broadcaster, a journalist, as a matter of fact. So that's who he is. And he's also a public affairs analyst. And we have Comrade James Ezema joining us too on the program this evening. It's good to have you join us on the program.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Why are you laughing? You're laughing like a PDP member.
Yes, I'm not a PDP member, but I think...
Do you have an affiliation?
Not at all. But it's just that I'm laughing because I know that something is about to happen.
So what's about to happen? Tell us. I know it's about the People's Democratic Party.
Another round of court actions will soon begin after the convention.
After the convention or before the convention?
After the convention.
After the convention?
Yes.
But you believe the convention is going to hold? Because some people are saying, you know, we can say...
No, anybody can hold. You can hold the convention, actually. But when you have finished holding the convention, somebody somewhere might want to challenge the outcome of that convention. And that's what
and you are serious about that?
I'm sure it's something that is predictable.
But in your mind now, what do you think about this convention? Whatever decisions are going to be arrived at, right? Decisions are going to be made, taken, you know, everything. And of course, the committee, well, there are factions right now. I know that's where you're talking to, you're tilting to. Maybe the other faction, because Wike said, if you people want this convention to hold, then you need to talk to us. That's one faction. I don't know if they've been talked to, but as it is right now, delegates are arriving. What are we expecting from this convention?
Well, we're expecting that at the end of the day, they will give us a list of people they have elected to lead the party. And we're also expecting that at the end of it, the other faction or some persons, even within this circle, that lost in the process, may eventually come to tell us how they feel about it. But let's see how it goes. I wish the PDP good luck, but it's
You're
not
wishing
going to
them
be
good luck. Then there is a birth right there. Let me talk to Usoro. Usoro, what do you think of this convention right now? Going ahead with the convention, all right? At the end of the convention, are we going to say, well, PDP have now settled and everything is done and dusted?
All right, so the PDP has issues that are self-inflicted. That's number one.
I love that. That's a big English. Self-inflicted. Now then they do themselves.
Because I was at their 101 NEC meeting. That was a meeting where they talked about they are going for convention at Ibadan on the 14th and the 15th of November 2026. And in that meeting, we saw the chairman 2025 rather, Umar Damagum, come out. Just flanked by his side, we have Sam Ayao, the secretary, and Mr. Debo, who is our boss there, the head of the publicity department, read a communique that was signed and agreed by all members of the party that yes, we are going towards a convention. And we saw close to the convention, issues arose, right, from the reconciliation committee. There were in-house issues about the fact that consultation was not done to all the elected chairmen of different states, because issues came where we had the governor of Akwa Ibom, defects to the APC, and there were some stakeholder issues as to should we allow the executive of that state that had been loyal with the governor to return, but they were still holding sway. And some persons at the national level of the party thought about that. We should bring in, the party then should bring in new set of excos that will be loyal to the party, since it looks like these guys will be loyal to the governor, who is now an APC member. And it was not just in Akwa Ibom, there were issues in states like Anambra, there were issues in places like Kogi and the rest of the thing. And I felt the PDP did not adequately address those issues. Okay. And so they just, a caretaker committee was set up in Akwa Ibom, a caretaker committee was set up in some states, and some persons feel this was not right. And this was all leading to the convention. That's why I said it is self-inflicted. Those issues were not handled. That's issues on one side. And according to the constitution of the party, before you go for this kind of convention, you are supposed to have all the national chairmen and the states, the state secretaries are supposed to, give a go ahead, because the convention is supposed to bring unity. So the party constitution knows what it's doing. It gives the party the room to do consultation, bring everybody to the table, have at least a majority before you move ahead to the convention, and that was not done, right? So they just moved ahead. And before now, we already have factions. We have the Wike faction in the party. We have a strong person in the party like Sule Lamido, close to when the Cells of Form came out. We saw the charade that happened during the Cells of Form. Sule Lamido, forms were not sold to him. Right, he went to meet the National Organizing Secretary for the form. Some of us journalists were there. The National Organizing Secretary said he's not the one who sells form, that he should meet the chairman. He met the chairman. The chairman said no, is he the chairman that will be selling form? So they just played him, and he was not happy about it. And he went to court. What are the courts saying? We have about 3 different courts statements concerning this particular convention. The first said the PDP should not go on with the convention. The Federal High Court in Abuja, they went to another court in Ibadan. The Federal High Court too, it said, okay, you can go ahead with the convention. But Sule Lamido now also presented his case that he was illegally excluded from the process of buying form and submitting form as a member of the party who has the right, who's been a candidate member of the party, to contest for the position of chairmanship. And that, and the court said, okay, the commission should be paused for now. There's a court judgment now that says the commission should be paused. The court judgment that says that commission should be carried on. So the lawyers will have a field day because they'll argue for or they'll argue against. But also leading to this same convention to show the exclusion that has happened in the PDP. Northern leaders allegedly met and decided that very respected Nigerian, I respect so much, former senior advocate of Nigeria and former minister of social duties, Turaki, is a consensus candidate of the North. Who does that leading to a convention where you have other prominent members who have invested so much in the party? So because this same Turaki, with due respect to him, he's a man I love and respect so much, his courage and everything. But this same Turaki is a national vice chairman of the convention planning committee. And he's the same person that you people are fronting to be chairman. So it means it's just a pali-pali kind of government. And when this exclusion comes in, a lot of agitations will come. Why don't you open the floor, allow everybody to participate? So already we are seeing, because of one of my friends who had interest in being, I told you about it, who had interest in being chairman of the PDP. And he's done one consultation. In fact, at the night where they had that meeting, it's from the North, where they had that meeting, was already in Jigawa. He's been going from, because contesting for the chairman of the party is same thing as contesting, almost the same thing as wanting to be a governor or a president. He was going from state to state, meeting delegates. One of the good things the PDP did was that the list of delegates was out. So anybody, you could know the persons and go from state to state to campaign. He also, going all along, when he was in Faraway Jigawa, he just got a call that the North has decided on Turaki, on whose terms. You didn't ask the aspirants, you didn't ask anybody, you just came out with a chart and say it's Turaki because he's you people's friend, he's close to Vintiri.
Without consulting with the people who have interest.
They will say consultation was done.
Consensus.
Without doing a wide consultation. I could call Ramsey and Hui and say I've consulted Global Television. Is that Global Television? Right, so you could even see the pictures when they pull out those pictures. People like Saraki, they were not smiling in that picture. So I'm not surprised when Saraki say they should go ahead and do more consultation. So I feel the issue with the PDP is self-inflicted. Our guy here has mentioned, there will be a lot of litigations after this convention.
After this convention, all right, hold it there. There will be a lot of litigations after this convention. Where's the litigation going to be coming from? These are questions that we are asking now. But as it is, the issue of the faction, he said something very, I don't know, I don't want to use the word touching, but then I think it's a kind of feeling for people who were in a particular party, and because of the faction, people who are coming into the party or setting up a caretaker committee or doing pali-pali has had negative impact on the People's Democratic Party. What would you have to say, James, about the issue? This is Nigeria here. The issue of pali-pali. Now, people don't even, it's happening from the party level. This is what escalates into political offices. The issue of my pali. People are no more interested in whether somebody is capable, all right, whether somebody is qualified, whether somebody has what it takes or not. But people throw their wings behind whoever they feel this person is their pali. What would you have to say about that in the People's Democratic Party and in Nigeria, in governance as a whole?
You see, it has become a big problem because it's not just about the People's Democratic Party. In fact, all the political parties in Nigeria are having the same issue when it comes to impunity. Internal democracy is a big challenge in Nigerian politics. And the politicians in Nigeria seem not to be learning at all. They don't seem to be learning anything because, you cannot talk about democracy without internal democracy within political parties. In fact, the political parties are supposed to be the training ground for leaders. And when you see that a political party that's supposed to be the very first platform that anybody who is aspiring to be a leader should, have experience or have a kind of first on-hand job, when it comes to running a government. If they can't run a political party, how can you run a government? And that is why what they do in the political party is what they carry to governance. Each time they win, this impunity continues. The impunity is irrespective of the political party. Is it Labour Party? Is it
I actually want to talk about
all the political parties. Impunity is something that people just come, they just wake up one morning, they say, no, this is what we want to do. A clique of people, a clique of individuals, and that's why you see all these kind of factions everywhere. There's no political party in Nigeria that does not have factions. Even the ruling APC, within the ruling APC, there is just that because they are in power, the grumbling that is going on at the background is not brought to the open. You talk about the CPC bloc, you talk about the ACM bloc, you talk about, so there's a kind of
even in the ruling party,
because there's a kind of a dominance by some of those blocks, where each time, because the CPC bloc produced the president the last time, there was more or less like, it is our caucus.
Okay, even despite the coming together.
That is it. So that is the challenge. Now the other block of the other smaller political parties, they are neither here nor there, because nobody even talks about them. Yes. Like those who came from the APGA. There were those who came from APGA. There was those who came from PDP. The then new PDP. Some of them were still in the party, and some eventually had to leave because after they won the election, things were not going on according to plan, and they had to leave. So this is the same thing that we are seeing every day in all the political parties. There's no political party in Nigeria. If it's not manifest, probably is not close to popularity in terms of access to power. You remember even the AAC, the African Action Congress, at a time, that there was a time that after Omoyele Sowore finished running for presidency, after the election, somebody somewhere came and took over the party, and then before you know it, the thing became an issue that they had to now go to court. So this thing keep on happening every day within our political parties, because most of the people don't want to follow due process. They don't want to allow the other person who is there finish his tenure, then probably I'll go and contest and then win. And then you see also the other side of the impunity, where a political party will decide, like in the case of the PDP, will decide that, we're going to print just one form. We're going to sell one form. You heard what my colleague was saying. He also was saying, look, these people, they were turning this man, an old man, from one place to the other. You go to this person, he tells you, no, the form is not with me. I go to the other person, he tells you form is not. That is just to make you have a kind of, they just want to while away time, and expect that once you are not able to arrive at the place where you can get the form, and they'll tell you, oh, the form the time has elapsed, you can't buy form any longer. And because there is already a script that somebody somewhere is the person that should emerge, and if this particular person will buy form, it could alter the outcome or alter the expectation. So these are the things that happen within our political parties. So this is not healthy for democracy, for God's sake. Right. Let us begin to run political parties as if these people are preparing for governance. Because the way you run your political party, that's how you're going to run the government. You cannot run a political party in one way and run the government in another way. It's not going to be possible.
Let me get to Usoro. Do you think this whole thing can affect the psyche of Nigerians? Listen, you heard what he said. Running a political party in this way could make people feel, if these people actually get into governance, same thing might repeat itself. And the issue of suspending people who are troubled waters in a political party. If you know this person is giving you trouble, why not suspend the person? If you know this person is doing anti-party, why not suspend the person? If you know this person is becoming a problem to the party, why not suspend the person? One person is now becoming bigger than the whole political party as far as the drama in the People's Democratic Party is concerned. What's your opinion?
For me, I fear for our democracy, right? This few days I've really thought about this democracy because this is a system of government that people fought blood and tears to have. It didn't come easy. Because when I see a lot of persons make remarks, maybe they don't understand what it means. This democracy cost us a lot. It costs life.
So much.
It costs future. It
So
costs
much.
a lot of persons' ambition for us to have. So our politicians should always understand. Our former national anthem used to say, "Labors of our heroes past." There are people that labored for what we are seeing today. So we shouldn't take it.
Should not be in vain.
Even the PDP. Even the PDP in 1998, people labored, the founding fathers of the PDP.
Sure.
They came, remember after the Second Republic, a lot of people did not even believe that the military would hand over power, right? But people labored, put in resources, coordinated the party, and that's why when some of them sit down to look at what is happening in the party today, they feel very discouraged, right?
I know.
This is a political party that would have been they have everything to have set the pace for political parties in Nigeria, in Africa. At a point, so the same Sule Lamido was saying PDP will rule for 60 years. They ended up ruling for us for 16 years. The same Sule Lamido that has been victimized in the PDP, you can put it that way, allegedly. Victimized by the same PDP who they didn't sell forms to him. He was there at the party national secretariat with journalists, all of us covering. Nobody was able to sell forms to him, but the same people were collecting forms from Turaki in the night. I have no grudges against the learned SAN. But I'm just trying to show you the way, because it could be Turaki tomorrow. It's not about Turaki, it's not about Sule Lamido. It's just about who the power dynamics look at that particular time and feel that this is who we want. Is this the kind of democracy we want to run? Democracy is supposed to be government of the people. Mass participation is one of the merits of democracy. In the government class they will teach you. And one of the first merits is mass participation.
Yeah.
Anybody can participate as far as you go the necessary criteria. And in Nigeria, you should be a law-abiding citizen. You are up to age 18 and all of that. You can vie for offices. And the political parties are a microcosm of the entire Nigerian nation. So if at that level, at that microscopic level, you cannot vie based on integrity, based on your credentials, it is based on who you know and people that have recommended you. Then what now happens to our larger political society? Like my colleague was saying, that's why you see governors who know nothing about governance, just because they were chosen by a group of people who control the different states. And it was given rise to by this political party. And PDP is one of the highest participants in this illegality in Nigeria.
So invariably, you're trying to say the majority of the problem we have in Nigeria is connected to godfatherism.
Let's look at one of the worst elections we have in Nigeria we talk about, right? I'm not going to mention his name, but we know him. One of the people say, looking at the credentials as to who was the worst INEC chairman, on whose reign, was it not the PDP's reign? When we had ballot box snatching in Nigeria, was PDP not in power? Look at allegations against some of the ministers in Goodluck Jonathan's government, like Alice Imadi.
So invariably, you're trying to say the PDP shouldn't talk.
No, I'm not saying they should not talk. I'm saying they should do a soul search, because they failed the country at some point, and that's what they have felt.
That's even what brought this party in the first place.
The country gave them a noble opportunity to set this country.
So what's happening now? Are you saying it's Nemesis that is catching up with PDP?
Whether we call it Nemesis, I will not put names to it, but they should do a soul search. I think
but from what you said, it means it's Nemesis.
They owe Nigerians an apology first.
PDP?
Yes!
For being disorganized.
For disorganizing the nation at first.
The nation.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's getting so intensive right here, and this is The Desk. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the issues happening from WAEC, of course, West African Examination Council. The rep is making a statement, maybe because of the issues we had in the last examination that had a lot of inconsistencies. After this break, we'll return And we'll talk about Rep's statement as it has to do with the CBT examination with WAEC come 2026. Stay with us. Let's get into the conversation now. As of course, Rep asks WAEC to stop CBT exams. All right. that is for 2026. But then, what do you think? We've had a lot of inconsistencies. I could remember in the last one, both JAMB, WAEC, a lot of things happening. It seems that we are not used to the computer-based test yet. It seems that the candidates don't know how to use the computers. Is it that we don't have what it takes? Is it the data, the internet, the stability of the internet? What's the problem? Rep is now asking why, that's the West African Examination Council, to stop CBT for 2026 exam. That is, stop computer-based test for 2026 exams. What do you think may have informed this?
Well, basically these issues that has to do with even the students, how much of understanding of the use of computer do they have? So, and then you saw in the last WAEC examination how people failed exams. After that, they now discovered that there was a glitch within the system that caused the mass failure. Meanwhile, someone somewhere have already died because he felt that, no, this can't be my mark, why should I have this? So he decided to commit suicide. These are some of the things that I think these people, they have looked at and say, look, let us, get this thing right. Because they're even talking about getting computer teachers, that can help in the, and then getting halls, because some of these exams are taken in some of them are in just makeshift places. They are not well equipped with a proper internet access. It just maybe an individual or business center or something, they just convert it and say that we are going to use this for the exam. So the WAEC itself is supposed to have a standard examination centers. And then even some of these private schools, how prepared are they really in terms of some of these computer-based examinations? So it is I think those are the reasons why they looked at it and say, okay, let us have a break. Use this period to acquire some of the necessary tools that you need to make this thing seamless, so that some of these avoidable deaths will not be happening, some of the mix-ups that are happening, And then it's because the WAEC itself does not have like a permanent staff, that is handling some of these things. Most of the time, they give this thing out to contractors, and sometimes some of these consultants, they consult other consultants. And they give them also to a consultant that will now help them to be, to carry out the job, because they themselves don't have the capacity to be able to deal with some of these issues. So it is actually something that I may not say is a welcome development, because WAEC is not just a Nigerian exam; it's a whole West Africa exam. So other people in some other part of the West Africa will be taking their exams by computer-based exams, while we will be going back to the analog and manual examination. So these are some of the things that I don't think is supposed to be something that should be coming up from Nigeria. Most times, Nigeria is where we are having this problem. And then in some other countries, some other West African countries, you don't hear some of these things coming up.
All right. If this is a standard practice, all right, by the exam body, like you said, it's a West African Examination Council, not just Nigeria alone. What do you think? Is it a good move by the reps looking at the glitches that we've heard? I don't know if you could remember that lady that was dragged. A lot of arguments, people saying, well, she wasn't the one that wrote, and people saying it, during that period when that exam, there was this lady, this young little girl, and people were saying she was affected psychologically, the dragging and all of that. So these are things that are not supposed to be if the system is properly managed. What do you think about this decision coming from the House of Reps?
Right, I'm going to say that this is the best decision that could come from the House of Reps, because the reps are closer to the people. They know the people. They know the villages. Like my House of Rep member, we were talking about over 25 wards that he under his constituency. So he knows, and those wards are made up of villages. Some wards have 5 villages, 7 villages. So they are close to the people, they know the people. Let's tell ourselves the truth, Ramsey. Before you write we are talking about the senior WAEC now, when we say it's not the junior WAEC. We have the junior WAEC that people write in JSS 3, which is supposed to be like teach you or just lead you through what you're supposed to experience when you get to the senior WAEC. And you get to the senior WAEC, the senior WAEC takes about 1 month. In fact, some WAEC exams takes 1 month and 2 weeks. Right? We start with tailoring, food, nutrition, and all of that, and keep coming. And some WAEC exams take 2 days. You write the practical some days. Those of us that did sciences, you write the practical physics. As you remember, you come back and write the theory and all that. So it's a whole 1 month exams. Right, and these are exams that you are going to type, because some of the things you write in WAEC, you are going to type. If you are writing English, you are going to type later writing is one of the things that you are very sure will come. It will come. You write a letter or you do whatever, it will come. And those things need typing. How many Nigerian children can type, let's even say, can type 100 words in 1 minute? How many? Very few. So you are already disadvantaged. You are going to make a lot of people become disadvantaged. The other exams that we talk about are JAM exams. The girl we are mentioning, it was a JAM. JAM is different because JAM is A, B, or C, D. So you just pick. I've written JAM before. So the CBT for JAM is 50 questions, 50, 50, 50 in 2. So you do your calculation, you pick the answer, or the closest one to the answer, and you move. But it's also with WAEC. While WAEC has those questions, most of the questions in WAEC needs detailed explanation. That's why WAEC is, I remember in my university days, they used to tell us that if you can pass WAEC, there is no course you cannot pass. Because the course that a lecturer is teaching you is one lecturer. But WAEC is, they are testing your knowledge over 6 years. Right, they are bringing all of that knowledge to one test. But the courses that we learn, if you go to year 2, they are not going to come and set questions of year 1 again. They have moved past that. They will set score. But nobody is telling you can bring SS1 topic, SS2. So it's a question, it's an examination that needs a broad-based approach and not just a secluded approach. So we don't have our children do not have the requisite skills because they've not been properly taught, not because they are mentally retarded. No, it's because they've not had it. So the reps are saying, let's get more computer teachers. It's a step in the right direction. Then we'll now do rollouts. There's something called pilot copy. You don't just come and say the whole Nigeria should do CBT tests. How many schools do we even have in Zamfara? How many teachers do we have in those places? You do pilot copy. You can say, okay, VI, let's start with VI. Those places are here. We can start those exams and try to extend it gradually as we look at it. So that we can afford, we can reduce massive failure. I think is a step in the right direction. Let's do a gradual rollout. Pick up some catchment areas. Start maybe some places in Port Harcourt, GRA, Port Harcourt, VI in Lagos, Abuja. You can say maybe Maitama or Guzape. You pick a few schools. They do pilot copy. Let's see what happens. Then gradually we progress to see where we'll get to.
All right. I think that's more like doing that trial, like a mock exam in major cities, not even the villages yet, where they have these glitches. All right, moving away from here, let's also look at where ADC is coming up with issues as regards the borrowing of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A lot of people have raised eyebrow, okay, when it has to do with anything borrowing. And a lot of people will ask different questions. Political parties and even individuals, economists, everyone talks when it comes to borrowing. But this time is ADC that is slamming the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria over the 1.15 trillion naira loan, and they are alleging physical recklessness. What do you think? Is that physical recklessness?
You see, the thing is this. The first question we should even be asking is, we have been borrowing in the last 10 years. Now, the 8 years of late President Muhammad Buhari, we borrowed virtually all through that 8 years. Now, we came to the past 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have been borrowing, and we borrowed all through this period. And what is on ground to show that these monies were utilized for the purposes for which they were borrowed? Is it infrastructure that we have? Is it what is it that where are these monies? Meanwhile, we had a time in the former administration where an airplane was actually painted and decorated and called Air Nigeria and brought to us, and the thing flew into Nigeria. And then after all the paparazzi, the picture and the cameras and all the media exercise, and everybody entertained themselves with the pictures, and the next moment the plane flew out of Nigeria and never returned. So these are the things we are talking about. We keep on borrowing money. What are we using this money for? Now, I think we should come to a point where our lawmakers should be talking about, before we can give you another loan, let us understand what has happened with the loans that you have collected. How long will we continue to borrow?
That question.
Of course, that is the primary duty, one of the primary duties of the legislature. The National Assembly is oversight. So they are supposed to exercise their oversight powers as enshrined in the Constitution and get the executive to account for the money that has been borrowed.
In your opinion, what do you think is the reason why they are not doing that?
They're not doing that because of the impunity we discussed about earlier. Because it is our party. The members, the people in the executive are our people. So there is no way they can come and say, let us go and be washing our dirty knees in the public. So since they are our party, then there's nothing we can do. See, this is even the level of impunity in PDP. You could not have this kind of development, because remember that it was during the 8 years or the 16 years of PDP, you will see that the People's Democratic Party was constantly taking their members who were corrupt to court at every point in time. You will see that members of the party who are corrupt are taken to court. But in this kind, since APC came to power, it is if you come to our party, your sins are forgiven, and that has been what has been the trajectory. You come to APC, and your sins are forgiven. Or if you stole before, you can just go and enjoy your loot, or you can have a license to continue because you know that nothing is going to happen. You see, these days you will have a screaming headline, Mr. A, Mr. B has been arrested by EFCC. At the end of it, what happens? Nothing, because either the EFCC did not find anything in the first place, or somebody somewhere would have called them and say, just leave this guy alone. And things like that. So we should begin to run a government like civilized society where there are checks and balances, where people don't just do things because it is our party. No, this what we're talking about is the future of Nigerians, the future of the people, and that's why I subscribe to a 60-year single tenure, for a political party. If you finish your 6 years, you go. There's no need for a second term, a second rerun election, so that the onus of performance should shift from individuals to political party, so that it is now your political party that will put you on your toe. It knows that if you didn't perform, there is no second tenor for you, and then everybody everybody's hand will be on deck to make sure that the party retains the office later on. But in Nigeria as it is, once a second tenor is there, they believe that it is a walkover for the incumbent because of the incumbent factors and all the compromises that happen within our electoral process. These are some of the challenges we shouldn't be having. The National Assembly should at least rise up and do their job of oversight, and then let us know where the money that has gone to.
You're trying to say the National Assembly is not doing their job.
If they are doing their job, Nigeria will not be like this.
So it means they are not doing their job.
They are not at all.
All right. I had someone, let me not say this, the issue of allegation of being rubber stamp. I wouldn't want to go into that discussion right now, but that was an allegation. I heard from someone who said, well, during the impeachment of the Rivers State governor, a former governor in this country made a statement in a press briefing that this is time for the National Assembly to prove, the senators, the National Assembly to prove themselves that they are not rubber stamp as being alleged by Nigerians. But then yours is that they are not doing their job. Now, also, as it is, he said the National Assembly are not doing their job. But some persons may want to argue it. What's your perspective?
Right. For me, for the borrowing, I think the perspective is it's quite very difficult for Nigeria at this time, because if you look at the last government before they left, we spent about 60 to 55% of our internally generated revenue on debt servicing. Right, Nigeria. Well, so the country was struggling to survive. It was as if it were a choke. Because just think of it this way: that you are owing somebody 1 million naira and your salary is 100,000. So every month you are paying the person 80,000 from your 1 million. So the remaining 20,000, you have children. All of the states will come to the center because of the kind of government we run to get their allocations. You have to give them something. So it was very difficult. That's why we had a lot of bailout. Remember, states could not pay salary and all of that. But now, so that we put this thing into perspective, this present government is doing debt servicing at about 60%, right? So debt servicing has reduced, but because debt servicing has also reduced, they are trying to balance up their overhead, recurrent expenditure, infrastructural development, and all of this. So because of the removal of subsidy, we have more money freed up now that can go into this debt servicing. But also, we still have conflicts when it comes to releasing funds that can go into our project. Normally, economics argue that you should do debt servicing should take between 10 to 20 of your primary budget. But in Nigeria, debt servicing is taking, even with how fiscal responsible this government claim they are, it's still taking over 60% of our income. So when you have these projects to do, it now calls for that is what calls for this supplement in getting these funds to put into direct projects. So in this case, it is a bit different from what the borrowing we have now is a bit different from the one we used to have before. That it was gotten to fund total budget. You see budget of 2.3 something trillion, and if you are calculating the oil price at, let's say, $80 for a barrel for a year, if we are even doing the production and everything, you see that we can only fund about 60% of that budget. But now we can fund over 80. But we still need to put it into some projects, like maybe the Lagos-Calabar road, coastal road, because that is over 4 trillion naira, and we cannot run it and run payment of salary and run all of this. You remember that also government expenditure has gone up with the minimum wage. So from 30,000 to 70,000. And now we are adding 30,000 to senior citizens and retired workers. So you could imagine all of those overhead. And so because of the rising cost of inflation, things that we used to get for roads that we could fix for 2 billion naira will now go for over 10 billion naira. So there's a lot of overhead costs, right? I'm not supporting borrowing, but the truth is that
you want to say this is not reckless.
I feel so, because I've looked at the economics behind it. This is not as it was, where it was bad that we're using 80% to do external debt. It's not what it is. It was before. And you also remember that this president has a background in accounting. Deloitte-trained president. He was trained, Deloitte, worked in Mobile as an auditor. So he has a background in accounting.
Okay, meaning our president is an economist, and of course he's an accountant, and of course he has a background. According to you have a lot.
He's in the public domain. Now he studied in the US.
According to your
he studied accounting
now,
in the US.
To your statements now, I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not
denying.
I know, I'm aware. Why won't I know my president? I know. I will give you the president's CV from A to Z as it is right now. Even where he has traveled, what he has done.
So I think the problem Nigerians have, just a minute now, the problem Nigerians have is that we don't trust the government.
Okay, we don't trust the government.
I don't
think. Hold it. You want to say something? Just 1 minute.
No, it is not beyond. It is beyond not trusting the government. You see, if the government becomes accountable, everybody will trust the government.
All right, that's it.
Once the government is not accountable, well, how do you trust them?
Okay, if the government is accountable, they will be trustworthy. And then the issue is that Nigerians don't trust the government. If you're a politician, there is this perception about you by Nigerians. Maybe it's part of the reasons we have some of the problems we have in the country today. This is going to be the size of the desk today. I don't want to go because I actually wanted to talk about what is happening to the deputy governor of course, Bayelsa State, as it has to do with the support coming from the People's Democratic Party in the bid to impeach him. But I won't be able to go into that now because of our time. Well, many thanks, Ubong Usoro, for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, you know, when I have people who know their audience on the desk, you know, it becomes more interesting. Thank you very much, Comrade James, for being part of the desk today, and as always.
Thank you for having me today.
And I think one of the things that we've had on the desk is the fact that we have people with a very positive mind. Our analysts are so in-depth in their analysis, and of course, that is one of the trademark of the desk on Global Television, and that's what we've been having and we'll keep having. So keep tab on Channel 365 on DSTV and Channel 276 on Star Times, so that you can be part of the desk Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Many thanks for joining us on the desk. Bye-bye for now.